Hey guys, welcome to my new Planet Zoo SpeedBuild series. Today I'll be starting off this new series with a capybara and tapir habitat. Let's jump right into it. So just opening up a new save file, looking around, see what I got. I was really interested in this little volcano thingy. I was thinking maybe I could block up that hole, fill it with water, put some nice swimming creatures in. Not 100% sure just yet. Keep it in mind for later. Just sort of looking at what the randomized sculpting gave me. So for this series, I'll be mainly focusing on the enclosures for the animals and stuff like that, rather than stuff for the guests. So I'm going to boost the ticket price extremely high so the guests get angry, don't want to come to my zoo, so I can just sort of focus on the enclosures, because that's what I really like building. So here I am just putting down the staff facilities. I chose the aquatic ones because I don't really use them often and I really like how they look. This bit's boring, so I'm just going to cut right to when I start building the enclosure. So starting off, I wanted to make sure I put the sculpting area for where the little pool is going to be, because I wanted to have the glass sort of peeking a little into the water so the guests could sort of see the capybaras bathing. At this point in time, I didn't realize the capybaras had a little diving food available for them. So it was shallow to begin with, but later I do sort of dig down, make it a more pond-like area so the capybaras can dive down and get their little food enrichment. This is when I start putting in the fence. I want to do the glass over the water, obviously because it's watertight, but then I decided for my outer fence that would be wood, because I like how the wood fits the foresty vibe that I knew I was going to go for, because I know that tapirs live in a more forested area. Not exactly sure about a capybara's natural habitat. I probably should have looked into that, but I like building more forested enclosures, so I just went with that. So yeah, just putting down more fences, just eyeballing how big the enclosure is. Again, doesn't matter if the guests can't see the animals or not, because this isn't about the guests, this is about making pretty enclosures. Because honestly, I am just really bad at building buildings. I connected the gate fence near where I'll start buildings are just for ease of access, and it also makes the most sense logically in my head. I raised the wall height because I like tall walls. I just think they look nicer. Here I am putting some glass in the side. Just because there are no guests doesn't mean I can't make the enclosure look a little bit nicer. Here I am just sort of playing with the path and having the little expanded loop. I'm not that good with pathing, it confuses me. Just sort of do my best to hope that it makes sense. Yeah. Because I can't move the pathing down, sort of push the fence back. Not that this matters too much, because this pathing's gonna get deleted, and I kind of forget to put it back later. Which is my bad. But there we go, we got a nice little glass sort of entryway. The waters will be nice pooling up there. Now start looking at enrichment items. I usually start off with shelters, just because I like to build the plants around the shelters, and if I have them down, I know sort of where they are and what I can do to make them look just nicer. I like the wooden ones. I think it fits with the jungly vibe I'm going for. I always do this thing where I overlap them. I don't know why. I think it looks nice. It makes instead of having them one next to each other, it sort of makes it look like one longer one, and I just think it looks better. I did another one in the corner because maybe the tapirs and the capybaras don't want to be friends with each other for once. They might want their space. So I'm giving the bedding the grass because, again, jungle theme sort of fits in. I think it'll match better than the hay, honestly. Just putting it down. Nice little bedding. And this is when I start looking at the enrichment items and the fooding, and I go, oh my god, I have these feeders. And it's at this point I go, I'm gonna have to dig a proper pond. Which means I will need to delete those fences, because they are going to get in the way of what my first idea was. I try and smooth out the edges so that animals can easily get into the water and out of the water. But here I'm just sort of sculpting the pond. Oh yeah, I keep the grass on so it doesn't change the terrain, just so it's just easier instead of changing it, because I know I wanted to put in like little layers in the pond, so some end would be lighter than the other. I knew on the other side of the pond, so not where I'm sculpting now, I wanted to have like a little bathing area for the capybaras, so I thought if I kept that nice and high, they should be able to just sit in the water and chill under their hot water taps, because I thought that'd be really cute. Yeah, so as you see here, I sort of raise it up, but not quite enough, so that a little bit of water will go to the next area. Here I am deepening the pond just a little bit more, because I wasn't 100% sure how deep the feeders have to be. Choose the flat feeder because they don't have to be as deep as the taller one, obviously. Extending the pond a little bit more forward, just to give it a bit more space. This does, again, ruin the bean shape so it looks more blobby, which wasn't my ideal plan, but you know, things change. I think it turned out nice at the end anyway, so I don't think it matters too much. Smoothing out the sides so it's not as harsh an edge. I just think the smoother edges look better. Here I am like pushing the level down so the guests can still see a tiny bit into the water. They won't see too much, but you know, the kids can sort of like duck down and see the capybara's legs swimming. I thought that'd be cute. If you could like connect the exhibit cameras up to like a TV, I'd probably put one down on the water so people can see them dive from a screen, but I don't think you can do that. If you can, tell me below in the comments. That'd be really nice. Here I am playing with the water levels. I didn't quite like it. It wasn't deep enough, so I'd have to raise the water level just a little bit. And this is sort of the final water level that I finish up with. As you can see, it gets that nice little bathing area to the side that I think's kind of cute. I put 2 of these bad boys in, just because I don't know how much the capybara need, and also they'll probably breed and want more food, and I just prefer to have more feeding bowls than less. I'm trying to figure out where to put this bowl, because there's not really a nice place close to the glass where the guests could see the tapirs eating, but I decided to put it back. You know, doesn't matter too much, honestly. I know some people start like decorating trees and stuff first. I like to put down some enrichment items, especially stuff like the grazing box, just because I think that you can decorate that quite nicely if you know what it's doing. I wanted to put the taps down first because I had this idea later on that I could put like rocks going up so it looks more semi-natural, I think. Less metal pipey. Here I am just placing down some more enrichment items, just some random ones. I really like these submarine boys. They are my favorite thing in the aquatic DLC. Or was that maybe a free update? I don't know. I just love them. So here I look to see what kind of follows the capybara and the tapir like. I know they have some crossover and some not crossover, for lack of a better word. But I just kind of choose it all because, you know, sometimes a creature might just wander into the wrong spot for a little bit. And honestly, they don't have to be so picky. I swear to God. So yeah, double checking I have everything, getting ready to put down all the plants. Now, I wanted to finish the pond up first. Now, I learnt this trick from like watching other people where you just put down rocks instead of the bottom, but I also like texturing the pond just in case I have like a little bit of space between the rocks that you can still see. I find that if I've done like a nice texturing where I used rock, sand, dirt, grass, I use grass on the rocks because it gives like a little mossy look, and I think that can be super cute, especially in more like tropical areas where you'd sort of expect moss to be in the water. So yeah, just sort of randomly putting it all around, not being too super focused on the details, just like putting it wherever. And here I put like tiny bits of grass. Putting tiny bits of grass details down. Yeah, as you can see, it sort of makes it look like a little mossy, so that area will be like more slippery and just more natural looking. But now I start with like the rock cladding, which is a technique I saw of like watching someone else's speed build, and I hate doing it, but I really like how it looks at the end because it is so fiddly. It was at this moment I kind of forgot that the random rotation buttons is an option. So I'm just sort of manually doing it all. I like to use the bigger rocks, different levels. I think it makes it more natural, just personally. As you can see, I'm sort of like putting the rocks a little bit over the underwater feeding things. Not so much that they're completely like covered in rock, because I don't know if that means that the zookeeper can't access it anymore. But I just sort of put the rocks around it and on it and above it, because I know that if they're just sort of around it, they'll still work, they'll still feed, and I have less exposed ground. Here I am. I'm still just playing with levels, making it look more naturally. This bit takes like a really long time, so I'm just going to quickly speed it up, maybe put it to like 3 or 4 times speed just to make it a lot faster for you guys. As you can see, I started kind of working on like the shoreline, making it a little bit rocky. I just think it makes the whole pond look a lot more natural. There's like little stair rocks that could be used for someone to make their way down into the pool a lot easier. I just think it looks nicer, a lot more natural. Alright, with all the rocks done, it's time to finally start putting down some trees. I kind of really like how these palms look. They're a lot thicker. I do wish there was a bit more like tree height variance, but I don't know these palms very well in real life, so maybe they do all look like exactly the same. Banana little leaf plants, I love those. Those are like a staple of most of my builds. Here I start putting the little taps in rocks, because I think it looks nice. Just sort of gotta make sure this one lines up, so it can be like a nice long rock. Not exactly the most natural, but it hides it very well. I accidentally deleted it. That one's too long. With that all done, it's back to putting down some more plants. I start off with like lily pads in the water. I try not to have like too much of the water in with plants, because I know that like if you put too much in the water, then make that all look pretty. The outside can get kind of bare because of animals, how much foliage they want. So I should really start doing that last, but oh well. I start putting down more trees, a banana plant, normal palms, more banana plants. I really like banana plants. I like how they look. Pretty sure that's a banana plant. A tiny banana plant, putting it in the rocks, making sure levels, just making it more natural, because, you know, sometimes trees can grow out of rocks. Big palm, small palm, little palm. Again, just sort of decorating the little rocks with smaller foliage. And then here I start going with these things. I like putting them like in the crags of rocks, because I think it just makes it nicer. Again, more natural. I keep saying that so much. But I do think like putting those in like the little crags of rocks just kind of pops. Makes it look more green without like overdoing the greenery, you know? You can put them in the rock itself because they have their own like tiny cracks. Because, you know, in the wild, plants will grow on rocks. I look at the other kinds of palms. I don't think I use them, because I think I just have enough palms. Here we go, finishing up how the outskirts of the pond looks. And here I do something that you'll probably see me do a lot in this series. I really like putting like the tree trunk on the side of the little lakes and stuff. I just think it looks nice, and because the tree trunk kind of goes down, it's like a little dip that the animals can climb on and play with. Here I am just now decorating under the water. I think it looks kind of weird with like the rocks and the plant coming out. I need to figure out a way to make that look better. Also, sorry if the audio changes. I think when recording earlier, I did the wrong setting for my headset. Very sorry about that. But back to building. Yeah, just putting more plants down. It looks nice. I need to figure out ways to like elevate it. I hide the feeders because I don't know. I just do. So now it's just focusing on the outside of the habitat. And I'm trying to put down large trees, and then I sort of go into miniature areas, decorate that with like trees and such. I don't have a very good like set plan for designing. I might get one along through this series, hopefully. But I do sort of follow the same principles, like I make sure the animal hiding spots, resting places, they all have like a lot of foliage around it to sort of like give them extra, what's the word? Like protection from the guests, so they can sort of hide behind the leaves, have a little nap. But not too much so the guests can kind of see them through the leaves. I don't know. I like looking at animals, like seeing them, being able to see them like slightly. Feels cool. I also try and decorate around the what is it? Digging feeder? Get the digging enrichment thing. Just a little plants around it, but I'm still trying to focus on trees, putting down the big plants first before I go in with all like the brushes and the flowers and all the small things. I'm trying to streamline my process a lot more. I never really have an idea when going into these. I just sort of place plants down. I really like this tree, but it was a bit too big. Very glad that is a smaller one, and I just dumped it there. And I'm like, yes, this looks great. But I think it does also help like hide the enclosure gate, which is why I put the 2 purple flower bushes near it. Just sort of make it pretend like it's not there. I feel like as a guest, when looking into the enclosure from the main bit by the water, you'd sort of see that tree out of the corner of your eye, and it makes like this illusionary rectangle exhibit. I also love that ground foliage, the big bushes. I like it a lot. I can never remember what it's called. As you will see, I don't remember the plant names. So I put in some more rocks, just like a little climbing area to give the enclosure like more depth. Have it have levels. I know I don't need to, I just think it's a little nice touch, because I'm terrible with sculpting. I don't like sculpting, so I use rocks instead to make levels and depth and fancy words. It also lets me do like those plants and little cracks around, like I did around the pond, but not around the pond. So it helps like break up the empty grass space without just plant. I can put down a nice little area, and I think this looks really nice. I like the cheese fronds, Swiss fronds. I think they have something cheese. I try like this idea of putting the plants on the trees. I don't do that often. I don't really have the time. Well, I have the time. I don't have the attention span to try it. And I think it was just looking a little weird. I kept it on one tree because I thought, yeah, you know, it's alright. But yeah, I don't do a lot of that. I like using the dead stumps a lot. And dead branches, dead trees. I just think they're a nice touch. And yeah, putting back to the, putting down some more ground foliage. Just sort of scatting around the place. Scattering, not scatting. I'm just sort of trying to figure out how to fill in some of the spots. I sometimes use the vines, that's the word, but I usually do them when I have them in mind. I kind of forgot about the vines. I also like putting the vines mainly in like the monkey enclosures because I like the idea that they swing on the vines. I don't think they do in the game though. They might. I haven't seen it. I don't think it's an animation. It should be. That'd be cool. That would probably incentivize me to use more vines. But yeah, anyway, back to putting down trees, more swish plants. This is just putting down trees. It's kind of my favorite part, just putting things down, being like, yes, this looks nice. Putting those dry plants around the lake, that's what it's called, the lake. More ground foliage. Yeah, I think I'll just let this play out. You guys can listen to the music. I don't have much more commentary until I start putting down the thingies. The enrichment item, that's the word. and it's enrichment time. I'm just putting in the rest of the enrichment items now that the habitat has been fully planted. I usually do try to make sure the animals are in the habitat before I just go around putting down plants, just to make sure I'm not putting in too many. But since they were both jungle, and I know the tapir is fine with like a bunch of plants, I assumed the capybara was the same. Turns out I was right, which was very good. But yeah, you should usually put your animals in the enclosure before you decorate it, because there's been many times when I made it nice and pretty and there's been too many plants, and then I have to like delete a bunch and it doesn't look as nice and I get sad. But we're just putting in more enrichment items, foods around the place. I just sort of dump it in different areas to make sure there's a wider range of places that they can go to play. There's not really any rhyme or reason, but now it's time to get the animals in, but first I need to hire workers. Yes, I should have done that earlier. Alright. Here we are, and I just sort of buy the first two that come to mind. This is on Sandbox, so it just replenishes itself. And I get the capybaras. I think, do I get one male and two females, or two females with one male? I cannot remember. Anyway, get the capybaras, get the tapirs, put them in. Make it a nice little habitat for them all. Also, another reason why it's better to put the animals in, or at least buy them before you start setting everything up, is so you don't have to sit there waiting, looking at your enclosure, being like, I hope this is okay for the animals. But I guess that's what the speed up options are for. Just speed it up, make it go yum. So yeah, we just have a look over the habitat. Just a quick side to side. As you can tell, I'm sort of confused about what I should be doing. I'm just staring, hoping that the capybaras will come up quickly. It's all a learning experience. There we go, finally speeded it up. I don't usually play on triple speed because that's too much. But there. All the animals are going in. Also there's guests, which is not what I want, because it will slow my computer down and I don't want to deal with that. So I will raise the prices up so it yells at me being like, the guests think it's too expensive to enter, and I'm like, well, go away. I don't want you. Yep, there we go. 100 tickets, $100 tickets. Can't pay it, you're broke. But the animals now in, I'll just let you watch to see how they enjoy their enclosure. I am really happy with how this enclosure turned out. I think it looks really nice. Sadly, I didn't get any of the footage of the tapirs bathing. Not tapirs, capybaras bathing. If I can get that in a future episode, I might clip it in a little. But I didn't want to spend like too much just looking at these capybaras exist. But yeah, they wander their habitat. They look pretty happy, if I say so myself. I didn't do terrain painting. I just realized that now. I might have said that earlier, but I didn't terrain paint. I kinda forgot. So I'm probably gonna go do that in my own spare time, and then next episode I'll show you like what the habitat looks like when it has some terrain painting. That's if I don't open it up and they're all like, wow, this is the best habitat we've ever made. But yeah, I think it really turned out lovely. I really liked it. Again, I haven't built for the capybaras before, but thank you so much for watching this. If you'd like to see more of me, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm also over on Twitter, where you can see my art. and any like random thought I have. That's at twitter.com/madamkinks. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!